Gentlemen, we have a mission on this podcast today. We've been, how many? 39 episodes strong so far?
Yeah, roughly.
And the audience is building on YouTube, on iTunes. And in this episode today, we have accumulated an amalgamation of questions.
Gesundheit.
People writing us in. We finally developed enough of people watching that people have wrote us in, commented underneath our videos, under our streams, and just questions. Now, we have each hand-picked certain questions from actors, comedians, filmmakers, directed towards us.
Submitted through our Reddit, our email, our Twitter. We picked our favorites.
And in this podcast today, it's a Q&A based on questions we've already curated, and we've each picked our favorites, and we're going to read them to each other, and we're going to try and help answer these questions today. So, welcome back, everybody, to Surviving Hollywood Podcast. My name is Aaron.
I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
My name is Austin.
And let's get to it.
Boom. What do we got?
Who wants to start?
Aaron, you start.
All right. Well, I'll do one, then you do
Yeah,
one.
okay, yeah.
Sure, why not?
We just have a couple, or a couple each.
And if you have a question out there, leave it down in the comments below or submit it via Twitter, email.
We'd love to answer it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first question. And
I'll do my best.
Yeah, we're all just going to do our best to try and answer
And we are
this.
experts, just to clarify.
Yes.
Legally.
So this one starts, hey, A, and J.
I like that.
What,
I like
is this, a sandwich? What is this?
I am a young female filmmaker, and I love your podcast. All right, great.
Good.
Currently, I am writing / in pre-production for my next project. Although I do have experience for my next project, I want to do something totally new. I want to write and produce my own Christmas movie. This is my question. What is the secret to making a great Christmas movie? I ask because you know how there are some good ones and then there are some forgettable ones. Well, what qualities do you think the good ones have that I can copy / draw inspiration from?
Should you just watch them?
Plagiarize.
Please and thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
Sammy, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Who's going to take first?
I mean, it generally doesn't it come down to the writing and the acting. That makes it good.
Well, I think you can pick she wants specific moments or scenes, I think, where you can pick out in Elf I liked when this happened, in Prancer I liked when this happened. What are some things? What are our favorites? I guess she can directly copy.
The Santa Claus.
Okay, so what did you like? What moment did you like in the Santa Claus?
I love the whole.
Okay.
Why is that funny?
Because you don't even know.
Yeah, I do.
All right, go ahead.
I love.
It's a great movie.
I loved first off setting up Tim Allen's character as the ne'er-do-well.
We're trying to help this woman, so if you can
Tim Allen was the real person. Tim Allen was the voice of the audience, and he was surrounded by Christmas, and
He was the real frog.
and we got to see Santa Claus through his eyes.
In a magical world.
Exactly.
In the morning, I'm getting a CAT scan.
Exactly.
I liked it because that's when he was still doing stuff.
Dude,
Well, he's on
Christmas
TV
with-
right now.
Christmas with the
Last Man Standing?
Cranks was great too.
No, I actually like the movie a lot. I was going to say...
Look, you guys are familiar, there's crappy Christmas movies that still
Yeah.
get played.
So
what?
My thing is you have to write a good movie and just make Christmas the backdrop.
Really?
It doesn't need to be the focal point.
Die Hard.
Exactly.
But
Die Hard.
But
Great Christmas movie. It happened to be a holiday office party.
But that's
all it was.
That's the only one you can think of that fits that, because every Elf, Prancer, It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, all of those.
Christmas is the backdrop.
Name one more movie though.
But they all have to do with Santa Claus and the reindeer.
Well, Johnny, give us one more.
Yeah, just give us one more.
I'm trying to think of Christmas movies. I'm not a big Christmas movie fan.
I just named 5 that had directly had to do with more than just being the backdrop. Can you name just one more?
Let me think. Well, I can't even think of Christmas movies, to be honest with you.
Because everyone you can think of.
ABC Family, 25 Days of Christmas.
It's more than just a backdrop.
What's a good Christmas movie?
Listen, Sammy,
Somebody throw it out there.
Well, I'll name you a bad one.
we're not going to be able to help you, Sammy. But yeah.
What was that? Vince Vaughn, Santa's brother.
4 Christmases. Oh,
No, Santa's. That was okay.
Yeah, that was good.
But he played Santa's ne'er-do-well brother, and for
right.
some reason that wasn't.
Yeah, that's a
good.
crappy one.
I don't remember.
I forget,
that.
but
I
it's
don't even know what
forgettable.
that is.
Fred Claus.
Yeah, that's it.
Fred Claus?
Yeah, that's
Oh, he played his. That's
brother.
right. I don't know if I saw that one.
But that's
I saw it in theaters.
nobody's seeing that
At least
again.
somebody got some money.
Yeah.
So what advice have we actually given Sammy? Because I feel like we'd give her nothing.
Like
Ne'er-do-well
I think
main
we,
character.
I think we need to like that. I think that's too general. I think we need to pick out specific moments. Just say, copy this, copy this, copy this. And Johnny kind of did one, saying,
those are all,
I'll make it a backdrop.
Those movies are all so different. So you can't really just pick something out of.
Well, you can say
one.
Santa Claus gets killed. Main character has to begrudgingly misplace him.
This is my thing.
Replace
I think the key to any good Christmas movie is there has to be a heartfelt, touching moment. Because really, what are Christmas movies for? To bring family together. And the only time you really watch them is when you're on the holidays with friends or like with friends and family, right? You're not going to watch it like, oh man, it's summertime. Yo, let's throw on a Christmas movie. Like, no, it's when you go home, you snuggle with the family and you watch a Christmas movie, right?
I think it's you want to feel that Christmas magic. Like one of the best Christmas movies of all time, A Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington. He's the only one. he feels the magic of Christmas when he goes to Christmas Town, and that's awesome.
Actually, you know what? I did think of 2 Christmas movies I just thought of now. Christmas Vacation. Love that movie.
Directly had to do with Christmas, right? Oh,
it was just the backdrop.
You're right.
Because it's about the crazy family
drama in the backdrop of Christmas.
And that one I watch almost every Christmas Vacation. I was going to say also The Grinch. That's a great movie too.
The cartoon or the Jim Carrey?
The Jim Carrey version.
I love the Jim Carrey version.
That's a good one.
Some people
so we
don't
should
like
say hire Jim Carrey as a tip for her.
That could be it.
All right, I think. Listen, Sammy, we're not going to be able to help you with this one. I guess I want to give my final thoughts, and if you guys have final thoughts, and then we'll get to another question. Sammy, look for the magic of Christmas. If I were to write my own Christmas movie, I'd want to make it just like Bad Santa. So I think of the scene where Santa.
Wouldn't you say that Bad Santa is that's the backdrop though? It's not really about Christmas.
It's a heist movie. It's a heist movie.
It's not about Christmas.
Yeah, I guess. But like one of my favorite scenes is when he's walking back. First of all, it starts when he's at the bar and he sees the Indian guy and he's just panning the bar, and then the Indian guy is staring at him and he doesn't know why. But then like 5 minutes later, new scene, walking in the parking lot, the Indian guy comes up to him. You know the part?
No, I don't remember that part.
I am not gay. The guy's like, Billy Bob Thornton's like, what? I'm not gay. It's like, okay, man. It's just so weird. And
I don't know if that would fly in today's Christmas movies.
I loved it though. That's a great scene.
No, it's funny because there's no bigotry at all. It was just some guy's weird quirk. It was hilarious.
That's a rated R Christmas movie though, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sammy. We're not able to help you.
Well,
Let's get to
I'm going to help Sammy with one thing, and there's a question to you guys. Keep your answer short, concise. If she's making a Christmas movie with elves, does she use children or little people, midgets?
Whoa, dude.
Well, I said both.
You can't say
I said both.
that second word anymore.
I would want to use little people.
Yeah.
I don't like to think of anybody as little, but I would like to use little people. I think that'd be fun, but mine'd be dark. Mine'd be dark.
I mean, maybe what's his face is available.
Tyrion? Peter Dinklage?
Yeah.
The only one.
He was an elf.
Yo, Johnny's never seen Game of Thrones.
But I know his name. I just spaced out on it for a second. I remember him from Elf.
So you both say use little people.
Actually, funny, in Elf, he got really upset. What the scene was, right? Will Ferrell kept calling him an elf. And he's
Call
like,
me
you
elf.
call him elf one more time.
He's an angry elf.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was a good scene, actually.
Elf's a good movie. Brian Schottky, shout out.
All right, next question.
Well, Sammy, hope we helped you there.
Good luck, Sammy, making a flop.
Okay. This question is from an unnamed person. But they say, hey, first-time writer, long-time fan. In the past, you have done podcasts with actors from Atlanta, LA, obviously, and Vancouver. Now, knowing what you know now, would you go back and move to a different city than Los Angeles? And then she says, assuming you wouldn't, assuming you'd pick Los Angeles because that's what you know, what would be a reason to make you pick Vancouver or make you pick Atlanta,
or any other place you're saying?
Well, I think she lists those three because we talked to Armida from Atlanta and Eddie from Vancouver.
So the question is,
knowing what you know now, would you have chosen a different place than LA? And assuming that you will say, oh, we'll choose LA, what would be a reason to make you choose?
I would say yes.
To what?
I would, if I was to start over, I would have moved to Vancouver. Or Atlanta is a possibility, but I think I would have picked Vancouver because I feel like, I don't know, that city vibe, I like it better than Atlanta.
You've been there for a couple of days one time. Correct?
Yeah, and I've been to Atlanta a couple times too. And Atlanta's fine, but it's the South, man. It's the South of good old USA, and Vancouver just feels more like a mecca of like a mix of people.
Did it not deter you when Eddie said he definitely feels prejudice Like he's not in the group.
Yeah, but that's my reason to go because I'd be like the only Latin guy acting there. So
It wasn't racial prejudice; it was regional.
No, I mean
Yeah.
social. Yeah, no, I'm saying, but
Well,
it's socially, you wouldn't be accepted.
well,
in that.
eventually I want to come back to America because I'm American. But
Hell yeah.
the thing is that like, okay, if I was to start over now, I would definitely move to a smaller market. Basically, what he did: rack up my credits, be in a pool, the big fish in a small pond. You know what I mean?
But Armida says that they're all self-taped down in Atlanta anyway, and you have an agent. So do I in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, but years ago, I don't think it was so much like that. And if I was to start over back then, I would say, yeah. Because I think also, too, like, you have more opportunity of getting, like, those day player roles, especially if you're there. Maybe not Atlanta. I think Vancouver, like Eddie said, he works all the time.
The next Atlanta.
I don't know. I'd pick Vancouver over Atlanta, personally.
But I would say it's different. Obviously, we know this, but it's different for you because Aaron and I are white, and there's white people in Vancouver right now. So it's like we'd probably be really saturated for whites.
Yeah, I just don't know how big of a...
Well, it's just a smaller market, so if you're a good actor,
yeah,
it'd be...
Right.
just
I think it'd still be good, though, because I don't think that
I'm
there's...
saying even better for...
I don't think it's 100% racial.
But I think Eddie, that was part of Eddie's point. He's like, there's not that many black people.
Yeah.
Right. He said he would see the same guys all the time.
But his, the town's bigotry towards him, he said, was just because he was American.
Right.
I mean, sure, that's a problem. But I would look at it, even if you're white, I think moving over there, I think that'd be better even too, because it's a different market. It's a smaller market. There's probably not a lot of actors in general. You know what I mean? People have corporate jobs over there. There's different industries over there. It's just different. You know what I mean?
You can move to Vancouver right now.
I don't want to do that anymore. If I'd only been here for like a year or something, maybe I'd consider it. But been here too long.
You have to
man.
get a lawyer and stuff like he was talking about.
I know that's the downside. That is the downside. But have you guys been to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually flew there
For a callback.
for a HBO callback. Wasted a bunch of money because we didn't book it.
I mean, it's the gamble, right?
That's the gamble.
Would you guys move to Atlanta? What would you guys do?
Well, after talking to Armida, I would not because... Oh, you mean, but originally?
Yeah, originally. If you were to start over and knowing what you know now, that's the question, right?
Yes. Right.
So if you had an option, what would you do?
I would not move to Vancouver because, again, I would feel like there's...
Well-
if I was a minority, I would maybe move, but...
My God.
It's
Atlanta,
2019, man. Almost 2020.
I wouldn't...
You see the world in one lens. It's minority,
It's all black and white to you, man.
literally.
So
Anyway, I'll answer the
I'd pick
question.
LA because that's what I know.
If I had to start all
But you
over,
don't know.
I only know what I know.
if I had to start all over again, that's not as it relates to my life. If I was just totally focused on my career, I wouldn't bother going to college, even though I went to a liberal arts school for
I
acting.
agree. I never would have went to school.
Not
Yeah,
that
I
I
agree.
didn't enjoy it, have a bunch of life lessons while I was there and make some great memories. It's just like as it pertains to my career, it really didn't help
do anything, right?
help that much. Maybe a conservatory would be different. So
But you could take acting classes and pay way less money, take top acting classes out here, and start auditioning.
exactly,
day
and
one.
that would be more because you'd actually be in the town. That'd be a lot more valuable to my career, I would think.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how I would do things differently. Now, to answer the second part of the question, well, if you weren't going to pick LA, what would make you choose another town? I guess if I don't know, like if I knocked up a girl and I needed to,
Go on.
I had ties to Atlanta.
Like what? Like her family?
Well, you want to be part of the child's life.
Yeah, so
Dude,
so
you would-
tough.
So maybe I'd be in Florida or something. I don't know.
Clearwater?
Make her stay in
The Homo Scientology.
Atlanta if she wants. I guess that's nice being part of the child's life.
I mean, you got to think of what
Hey, haven't you heard of abortion, buddy?
you got to think of.
thank you.
What
Just kidding.
life events would make you go to a different town? And
If there's a huge earthquake in LA the day before I was going to move, I'd be like, oh,
But that's not the question, though, is it?
No, it's not. Aaron,
Yeah.
Part of the question said, what would make you choose another town? Because you can't choose LA, so what would make you choose the other town?
Yeah.
No, I
that's
thought the
true.
question was, knowing what you know now, would you choose to live in
yes,
a different,
that was
smaller
part
market?
one. That was part one.
Didn't quite answer that.
I answered it as
You only said it-
as it pertains to my life. I said that's what I would change.
But knowing what you know now.
Aaron wouldn't go to college is basically his answer.
But that's
what you answer for everything.
That's not. It's not what the question is.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't. I can't say that I would definitely go to a different town.
Market.
I might
Okay.
just still go to LA.
Fair enough. But don't you guys think though that with the skills you possess now, knowing how competitive it is in Los Angeles, that you would think, hey, if I'm in a market that still has a lot of productions going on. Not to mention, actually, we didn't even talk about New Mexico, dude. All Marvel movies are shot in New Mexico. Think about all the day player roles that could potentially. You could be on in the new Marvel movie.
First Avenger was shot in Cleveland.
And there were like Cleveland.
Yes, it was.
Was that?
I was an extra.
Cleveland
in 2012.
Oh, okay.
Things have changed since 2012.
New Mexico's got a whole new studio.
Here's the thing. Cleveland. I'm not saying Cleveland is the same type of market as Vancouver or Atlanta. Those are a lot bigger. But Cleveland does have a film. Ohio does have like a.
We had agents in Cleveland.
Yeah, there is a market in Ohio. And we were just on the cusp of it because we were very young and we weren't really part.
And we were in college too, so it was like a hobby.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. We weren't
our main thing
actively
was
do it. But you can tell some of those other people who were going. You know, they all knew each other. It's basically what he was describing.
But
for
Netflix
Vancouver.
doesn't have a studio in Cleveland.
Yeah. So
No, they just cast for like the day player stuff.
Right, but how often is there a production there?
Oh well, there's a good tax break, so it's not as big as Atlanta or Vancouver, but movies do film there, like the Avengers.
Sure. Occasionally.
But it is smaller than Atlanta, and it is smaller than Vancouver.
Well, I'm just saying that like you could tell like there were people who were perfectly happy doing those small parts and basically doing acting as a hobby, and they all knew each other and all that stuff.
But doesn't that make you think like, man, if I was going in there full time and these guys are just hobbyists, I'd be blowing these guys out of the water, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, we have a friend Ash came from Texas,
But he wasn't really in Austin that much. He was in Houston.
Oh, but still. But the thing is, I was telling about the agent I have, which is in Texas, but represents me for Atlanta and everything. And he's like, well, we just thought it was funny that he knew of them and he chose not to try and get representation from them because he's like, I'm just going to move to LA and I'm in LA. And I chose to get representation from them.
I mean, I had rep in Dallas and that's how I booked Queen of the South.
Listen, let's move on to the next question, but I will back you up, Johnny, and say yes, it is slightly appealing to think about that.
I'm just pushing back because I'm curious. I'm pushing back.
But LA is what I know. Full steam ahead, baby. No looking back.
I'm looking a little bit in the review. A little bit.
And that's the dynamic you get at this podcast.
Okay. Anyway, so actually I was talking to a friend earlier this week, and they asked me this question. It's a very simple question.
Talking to a friend?
Yes.
Okay.
Premise is off already. Premise is shaky.
Does it really have to be like that thorough necessarily?
Just kidding, John. You got friends.
But they were just curious because, I've been fortunate to work on a couple shows, and they were having difficulty because they were saying like, it seems like I audition constantly for things and it's not happening. Like, they're like, what does it take to book your first TV role? What do you think it takes? And why do you think it's so hard?
I think it takes 100 at-bats and failures.
I think it's just a numbers game. I think it's just, you just got to, like, what Ryan used to quote this one comedian.
Old acting teacher.
Yeah, he used to say, like, it's just like as if you're in line at an amusement park. It's like you just got to wait.
Wasn't that like a Louis Anderson
Yeah, Louis
thing?
Anderson, exactly. Louis Anderson's quote, you just got to get in line and stay in line, and some people are going to have the fast pass. Some people it's going to be easier for them, but as long as you stick in line, people are going to drop out. Eventually, you're going to get there. So I think it's just a numbers game. Is it more than just a numbers game?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you guys. What do you guys think? Is there more to it? Is there, because I feel like sometimes I think a lot of it is validation. Like the casting director's like, well, once you get that one, it's like someone's giving you permission to be on television. Like it's kind of like this, like
meaning it's all mental.
Yeah,
it's just like with like a
reassurance. Like okay, somebody put them on set. They're gonna be okay.
It's just like with like dating. It's like if a girl sees that you like used to date this other girl who looks like her put together, she's like, oh wow, maybe this guy's a catch.
That's a good point. Could be.
Just chill, man.
It'll happen. It'll happen soon.
Well, but I think after the first national commercial Aaron and I booked was BMW, and I know me personally, after we had shot that, I felt so much better about myself walking into the next commercial audition.
Do you think getting that first national was hard?
Well, I remember Aaron and I went in, did it, had some rapport with the people, went out, and it just left. We had failed a ton. We didn't even like the sides were thrown in the trash, and we just forgot about it. And then we booked it. And I remember
so you just improv the whole thing?
No, afterwards when we left,
okay.
the sides were thrown in the trash, and I just remember
Oh,
when
I
our
see.
agent called and said we booked it, we were like something along, but like really, like it's done. We don't have to do anymore. And I said something like that, and she's
You're
like,
like,
yeah,
where's that trash can at? I gotta get those
you guys
sides
booked
one
it.
more
You guys
time.
are filming this Friday.
That's cool. I mean, I don't know.
So yeah, I agree that. I forget the question,
What does it take to book your first TV role?
but you asked a specific one.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it was.
And so Aaron and I gave our answer. What's your answer?
I don't
just
know
posing the
exactly what it is,
question.
but I think you're right. I think it is a numbers game. I think you just have to like keep doing it because it's kind of like also what we just had Renee on, where he said that you could audition for somebody. Even when he was auditioning people, they had the best actor for a project that he was being considered for.
The best actor didn't get it.
The best actor didn't get it because they were too tall. Like literally, he was
6
like
foot.
They were brilliant.
It's not that tall.
Not even. It's like average height. I was surprised, but anyway, it's out of your control. So I think all you can do is just like do the best you can.
And also, one time I went into audition. It was for a Wells Fargo commercial, and it was a callback. I got to the callback. Actually, Miranda, our casting associate friend, she was in the room, and I had met her at the audition. So first thing was like, it's so much easier because I was maybe slightly nervous. I see Miranda in the lobby, and it eases the tension because I talked to her. I know the casting associate.
Yeah.
And when it's me reading with a Latino guy, so white guy that doesn't know, it was supposed to play in Hispanic markets. White guy that doesn't understand Hispanic.
Was it a
language.
beer commercial?
Wells Fargo.
Oh,
Wells
sorry.
Fargo.
Sorry.
Doesn't
And-
sound as edgy
Sorry.
as you're making it out to be.
And when we get to the callback, the director immediately, by some sheer happenstance, knows the Latino guy, and they start hugging and they start talking, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, wow, how many auditions do I go into that I think I'm perfect for the part? Little did I know, by sheer happenstance, the director had this reaction with one of
Best
my
friends.
competitors. Yeah.
So did you book it?
No, I got pinned,
All right.
but I
Well,
didn't book it.
something.
Yeah.
All right.
It's called First Loser.
Hey,
I hate Avail, man.
It's it's exciting, but also, I like it.
do you guys feel like we're helping people?
I think we helped Sammy.
Is that the next question?
No.
No.
Okay.
I do.
So
I do.
I actually see the third question is pretty good. This one's kind of short. It's kind of I don't want to judge it before we get to it, but okay. So
From who?
I'll just they just signed it B. It's called at the end they just signed it B.
Bobby Bogner? Bogdan?
It says
Don't talk about the
it
competition.
says hey.
Aggressive start.
Yeah.
It says hey.
Exclamation point.
It says hey.
Continue.
I am a trans filmmaker. I'm not asking for any help. What I want to know is, what have each of you personally done to help the trans movement in Hollywood?
Okay.
It's so funny that they start off, I am a trans filmmaker. I'm not asking for any help.
Right. I know. Why was that thrown
Well,
in
because
there?
I think I asked that, like, if you guys need help, ask us questions.
Just seems that this person's been hurt before, and they don't want favors.
I assume it's a woman. She's putting up a trans or
trans-
what
a
are her
trans.
pronouns?
she just signed a B. I'm not sure if she's a I don't know if she was born a woman or born a man. But she's just speaking for the whole trans community in general.
Well, she's
Now,
a woman.
I'll
now.
be happy
She's
to
trans.
answer this question first because I know you guys need a little bit of time to think. So the question
I
is,
can answer.
what
first.
have each of you personally done to help the trans movement in Hollywood? And I would like to say,
ahead.
I
Take
want to
this
answer
one.
first.
what I would say is I have taken this question and put it on the Surviving Hollywood podcast stage. That's what I've done.
Okay.
And I personally do support it.
Planted the seed. Go ahead.
Anybody, I
That's
think
not what have
I
you
think,
done.
I think everybody should have the freedom to do whatever they want.
Hey, quit
And I
virtue
support it.
signaling and tell us what you have done.
I just told you. I brought this
No,
question.
you said you believe it should be. Oh,
No, no,
that's what
I
you
said,
did?
What have I done?
He's doing it right now.
So
you've done one.
if either of you have brought a question, anything like this to the stage, I will take this one back and think of something else. But I've brought this question. I have taken a community that some people feel is marginalized.
On your
It's-
back.
And I've stuck it on this podcast, and I said, I want to use my platform to bring these issues to light. And I just want to say again, I think everybody should have the freedom to do what they want.
get it.
If they're an adult, you can do what you want.
Okay.
What I've done is not enough, and I can't speak to anything I've done, and I plan to do a lot more. And if the community
serious,
if
man.
the community can get at my Instagram, my personal stuff, not this corporate Surviving Hollywood, so I'll respond back.
Okay.
Tell me what I can do.
I watched what was that one movie? Like Clementine. It was shot in Hollywood on the iPhone.
Oh,
like Tangerine.
Yeah, I never seen that movie.
I watched Tangerine.
Was it good?
Well, it was cool because it was all shot on an iPhone, and it was like
the hesitation said everything. And
was it about a trans?
It's just it is.
It was like two trans.
Yeah, it's not like your
prostitutes.
Yeah, it's not like your typical movie, but it was actually good. It moved. It was never boring. It was good. But it was different.
All right, that's cool.
That's another thing Aaron's done.
Yeah, you've done 2 small things. I don't know.
So I've done 2 medium things. Austin said I'm not.
I'm putting it out there. Not enough.
Great, it's good.
What have you done?
I thought that question was just to Austin.
Well, I answered.
No, I have not done much. We'll just say that. I really haven't.
But you're not stopping anybody either.
No. You can do whatever you want to do. I think my thing more is like, I'm not necessarily involved in that community. I'm not familiar with that community. I probably should get more familiar with that community. But the films that I'm into, the filmmaking things I want to do, it's not specifically in that genre or that vein. So maybe that's why I'm not, supporting it in any sense.
But you would.
But I'm happy that, I think you should do whatever you feel
I would love a trans guest, honestly, to ask them if they feel marginalized and how, and what they want.
Now, would you prefer a trans woman or a trans man?
Doesn't really matter. Why are we discriminating?
I prefer a trans. Whatever one is more woman, because we're all men. And
would be a trans woman is a man going to a woman.
Okay. You want a man who turned into a woman.
Yeah, I guess.
Who's always been a woman.
I just want the female.
It's very confusing. I know. I'm very confused still by it.
And these types of conversations, probably go on every single day behind closed
doors. Are you guys familiar with the genderbread person?
Sounds like a neat snack.
Gingerbread, kind of?
No, but it's called genderbread.
No, what is that?
It's a little diagram with a genderbread person, and it explains how everything's broken down in terms of like sexuality, how you identify, what your actual biological gender is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because there's a lot of things that are like, oh, I'm non-binary, explains all that stuff. Because it's very confusing. I had to when I was playing that role for Homeward LA, I did a lot of homework and a lot of research trying to understand all this. And at the moment, I'm like, okay, I get it. And then over time, I just kind of forgot because it's just like it literally is changing all the time. So it's like very hard to like.
Which part of the gender bread are you? More the arm or more the head?
I don't know if it.
I thought it was a diagram.
It is a diagram, but I don't know if it breaks down by physical. It's just like
anatomy. Educational.
Exactly, it's like educational.
It's like the food pyramid.
Just a fun thing.
But they've actually recently, from what I've read, they've actually changed the genderbread person because they said the genderbread person looked like it was too much of one type of gender.
A man.
So it's a little confusing now. Now it's like it's a different thing. It's a genderbread. Not even I don't know what it is.
Make it a dinosaur.
I
think it's a horse now or something.
That'd be nice.
Or I don't know what it is, dude.
Hey, have you guys ever seen the comedian Tom Segura go on like when he promotes like comedy shows on
morning
the road?
shows?
Yeah, he goes on morning shows and he like these morning talk show hosts expect him to just be like a nice guy or like just standard comedian. And he's he comes out, he plays a character and he comes out as like non-binary.
That's version 2.0 genderbread person. Identity, attraction, expression.
For the folks at home, it looks exactly like a gingerbread, but with a big heart and that big male-female symbol.
So he's broken down by identity, expression, biological sex, and what you're attracted to. Because all those don't necessarily have to correlate. They can all be very different. Say, expression.
So your gender is different from your sex, which is different from what you're attracted to.
Exactly.
They're all different.
So there's identity, attraction, expression, sex. It can get a little complicated. And
just when I thought love, couldn't be more confusing.
It's okay to do one day. But they've changed it too. Watch. I just want to see what they changed.
Yeah, that said Gingerbread Man Volume 2.
No, but there's another one now. I just saw it the other day. I think it's
what
like
other trans I can only think of 2 good trans things. The one was Tangerine.
That's the new movie. It's the gender unicorn.
I like it looks like Eeyore.
These are so simplistic.
Looks like Eeyore.
That's what they've changed it to now.
It looks like a stuffed animal.
Have you guys ever seen that before Louis C.K. got in hot water? He had that show. And
Louis?
Yeah. No. It was the show he put on like a play. And
Russell and Pete or something?
Yeah, something like that. Horse and Pete or something.
So in one of the episodes is the next morning after he hooked up with the woman, but he finds out the next morning it's this black chick. I think it was a girl playing this role. I'm not sure. But the next morning, he finds out that this is a transvestite. And then the whole episode is him discussing with her, should I feel weird that you're a transvestite? You didn't really tell me. And now how should I feel? And it was really good.
So how do you feel about that? Do you think he should have been
Aaron
notified?
felt shook.
Or he felt woke.
Horace and Pete, I loved it. I mean,
No, we're not talking about the show. We're talking about the situation.
that one particular episode, I loved it. The fact that I like TV shows that
Would
push
you
the
want
boundaries.
a girl to tell you? Or a man?
It would never happen to me.
Would you wouldn't hook up with a fully transitioned female transvestite? Fully transitioned. They're the exact same thing.
Probably won't.
Are you serious,
why
dude?
not, dude? You wouldn't date one?
I probably wouldn't.
Why?
But I support you doing it.
Okay. Why wouldn't you though? What's
Listen,
wrong?
I'm not going to.
Tell us, dude.
I'm not going to.
No, tell us,
I'm not
dude.
going to put on a fake show for the folks at home. Listen, I support you
Wait,
guys.
I just want to say, think about, because you're on the wrong side of history right now. Think about
If
20
somebody
years ago saying, would you date a black girl? And you're saying, probably not.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
I'm the only one here who has dated a black girl, so I'm the most woke.
In 20 years, you'll be dating a transvestite. If that's
No, I don't think it's the same
don't know if that's
because
the proper
I don't think
term,
it's the same
but-
because you can say, if somebody said I'm not attracted to Indian people, doesn't mean they're bigoted towards them. It's just like, oh, I'm really only attracted to black people.
It's just a preference. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
And let's move on before we get
I
in
thought that was our
trouble.
most interesting question, guys.
That was heavy.
All right, sort of a quick one. And
Thank
they didn't
God.
say this, but I'm telling you, you might have to look up in your phone if you want a reminder. You'll get in a sec of past people. But all right. Hey, Austin, Aaron, and Jimmy. So I guess they're not a frequent guest. I mean, a frequent listener.
Hey,
But
it's fine.
hey, Austin.
I only always say my name first.
It's only mixed loudest in the
That's hilarious.
intro. Hey, Austin, Aaron, and Jimmy. Out of all the guests you've had on the podcast, name one guest that you if you only had one choice to pick one guest to get again, who would you get to be a guest again? And pick one guest that you would never have again. You have to choose.
Well, is the purpose of getting these guests to grow our podcast or just who we like talking to?
It could be, they don't specify.
I go based on conversation.
So you can look, if you need a reminder, I guess.
Just
look up
in my initial thoughts, I'd take Eddie on again. We just had him on, but I really like talking to him. I'd take Eddie wasn't a stand-up
You
comedian.
have to pick one.
Eddie was good.
But like I like
He was top.
all my favorite guests, and Eddie applies to this, is stand-ups. I like stand-ups.
Eddie was actually really good. I actually really liked Garrison.
Who?
Garrison Dean.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was good. Ben, of course.
I liked him.
Ben was
It's
good.
Or Paul. I guess he goes by Paul G.
Yeah,
Hogan,
exactly.
But I was thinking of his
Ben
alter
Dukes.
ego.
Ben Dukes.
Ben was good.
I like Samantha Jane.
Yeah, she was good.
She was awesome.
What about
They've all been really
the
good.
one that we worked with?
Don't make me choose.
Weissel.
Alex
Alex
Rose
Weiss-
Weissel.
Alex
One of the
Rose
early,
Weissel.
deep pull.
Dan O'Shannon.
Hey,
Yeah, of course.
just for the folks at home, Joe Stapleton, poker player, stand-up comedian, he's got the most traffic.
He's
on
our
him.
number one podcast. He was fun too. But if I had to pick one, I go based on conversation, like which one I felt like the conversation flowed the best.
And that's why I said
which
Eddie.
one I like talking to the most. Eddie's definitely up there.
Eddie.
Flake.
Okay,
We just
I was
had
just
him?
looking. We had Eddie. Our
yeah.
buddy.
Vincent.
Yeah, he was so early
Yeah,
on.
when you said that, I thought that's who we were
we
talking
need to
about.
get him on again because we don't really know how good the conversation could be with Eddie.
Yeah,
Vincent.
it's definitely a toss up.
All right, and name one that you would never.
I mean, there's so many that I've actively rejected coming on again, so it's harder to narrow it
so
down.
name
to
one.
just
You have to.
I'd go with fuck, what was her name?
Here, right
Jennifer Fang.
No, come on, dude.
What?
here. She was great.
She was.
She made us.
was fantastic. She made us better people.
One person commented under Samantha Jane's podcast on YouTube. Hey, he was like, I got so much value. He named the parts of the podcast that he like, oh, I'm a filmmaker. I was interested in this. I noticed you cut out the part about how much money.
I saw that too.
She's like,
He wanted the budget.
He's like, could you just give me a ballpark? I'm
Yeah.
really interested. And I just told him, because there's other producers. It's not just her. She didn't think they'd be comfortable her sharing the exact monetary amount FX gave. So.
But see, I wasn't the only one that wanted to know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
You know? So was I in the wrong? Because I feel like I set that question up very like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable or talking about it, it's totally fine. But this is what people want to know.
Here's the thing. I've been trying to think of.
Just got a text from Renee.
What did he say?
He wants the photos, dude.
Nice. I like guests who share. Honestly, I was trying to think of something, good to say to answer who would I not want to have on. But here's the thing: I actively every guest we've had on, I would love to have them on again, because kind of what's hard is having a guest on when you don't really have a rapport with them, and then it kind of gets like, oh.
But then you build a rapport.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool.
So now that all these guests we have a rapport with, and half of them I would love to have on again. Everybody I would have on again.
You have to pick a one. Okay, whatever.
Just
Do your own
who would
thing.
you not want to have again? Just say it, dude.
Kathy Marks. No,
Hey,
she was never on.
I
No,
would.
we-
I would.
Unfortunately,
I would
for somebody.
love to have YouTuber Nina Nelson on again. I would fucking hate to have Randa on.
Johnny wasn't there for that.
I wasn't here. You're supposed to be like, oh, that's my favorite one, the one when Johnny wasn't here.
All right, Johnny, do you have a next question, or I go on if you don't?
Go ahead and go for it.
So this is my last question that I wrote down. And I didn't expect the last one to go so good that I did. So hopefully this one goes good.
Very political.
I like to talk about what's going on in the world today. Next question.
What is
Dear,
going on?
dear SH.
They can't hear.
Too Fast and Furious going on. Dear SHP, that's Surviving Hollywood podcast. You guys always talk about how you punch up each other's scripts. Well, I am working hard to be a stand-up comic, and I was hoping that you could help me punch up this bit. Well, it's not really a bit yet, but tell me if you think this could be a bit.
He wants us to write the whole joke.
No, so this is like a concept. So he's saying, you guys always talk about punching up each other's scripts.
Once or
Sure,
twice.
whatever.
Why aren't you guys excited?
They think they're talking to Jimmy over here.
Yeah.
You guys
I'm
aren't-
losing respect for our
Fuck
fan
is that
base.
guy?
What? You guys aren't excited? This guy has... Dude, so
Just get to the question.
No, I'm
buddy.
excited. It's just fun to have banter.
our
dude.
guest, Johnny Day, back in the day, he once gave us
Oh, that guy's name you remember, huh?
he gave us a stand-up bit. He was like, this is just a concept. I thought it was super funny. He said, a stripper who only performs to the Seinfeld theme song. So that's like a concept that I always thought was really funny. It's not really a stand-up bit. So that's funny, right?
Two of my most favorite things in
Yeah,
the world.
funny visual.
So this is, okay. Tell me if you think this could be a good bit. I'm going to read it in full and we can discuss afterwards, kind of multiple sentences. Okay, this is the bit. Columbus was a gay man for these reasons.
The founder of America.
Christopher Columbus?
Yeah. So number one, his name was Christopher Columbus. Not Chris, but Christopher. And then he has a
Okay.
then he has he has a note here
Gay
saying
people are proper.
Drop that joke.
well he has a note here saying it's not, people say, oh, of course it's not Adam and Steve because it's Adam and Steven. No gay man in his right mind would go Steve. That's what he's put. Anyway, the next reason, Columbus was a gay man because he always wore that frilly little hat. And he says gay men are great at accessorizing. Number 3, Columbus was a gay man because he had a statue in South Montrose, and everybody knows that's a gay town. That's what he said. Then number 4, Columbus was a gay man because he hung out with Queen Isabella a lot, and queens love queens. And this is by Avery, and he says, by the way, I'm gay.
Well, that was going to be my response. Avery's gay.
Yeah.
He thinks about it so much.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
It
with
sounded
that.
like a David Letterman thing. Like, on the top 10 things that make you Christopher Columbus gay. Number 1, your name is Christopher.
But let's really help this guy out.
Oh, so that's his general concept.
So we need to punch it up.
Now, actually, if you actually research it, there is some evidence, not what he presented, but there is some evidence that Christopher Columbus was actually gay in real life.
I haven't seen that evidence.
So I think knowing that, he came up with a joke around it.
Sounds like something that the indigenous people are putting out there to try and discredit Christopher Columbus.
So let's just go through point by point.
Christopher Columbus. I can't even talk.
Do you think this holds any water in your
I think it's
naive
funny.
opinion? His name was Christopher Columbus, not Chris Columbus.
That was the weakest one, but it did
Yeah.
kind of set up the thing. But that set up how minute these reasons would be.
Yeah, these are pretty minimal. It's like the one about like, oh, he has a furly hat because gay people love to like
Accessorize,
okay,
yeah.
But
come on.
but again, it started to get funny because they were just so.
Well,
minute.
dude, it's a stand-up bit. He's not reading a history lesson. He's trying to think of jokes.
Yeah.
Sounds like he needs to find a new profession.
Is this Mark Normand writing us in?
It's Avery.
He's a stand-up. He's an up-and-coming stand-up. He was just on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So how about this? He has a statue in South Montrose, which is
Where's that?
he says everybody knows that's a gay town.
Again, I like that because they didn't get more important.
Martin Luther King has a statue in West Hollywood. Does that mean he's gay?
But these reasonings, it started with Christopher Columbus instead of Chris. It doesn't have to do with anything, and you think they can't get more dumb, but they do because he has a statue in South Montrose.
Maybe if he began it like, oh, my father, we didn't celebrate Columbus Day growing up, and he sets it up like the audience is going to think because we're so woke that because we celebrate Indigenous People Day, and then he goes in, it's actually not because we're woke, it's because my family is bigoted, and Christopher Columbus was gay.
You know,
I love it.
I
man.
think you should keep it.
I'd love to get Avery on the podcast. Honestly.
I think I'd love to see him do the bit and
He
see how it goes.
He should do podcast Kill Tony. Get up there for 1 minute.
Yeah. There you go.
And see if
they kill.
Well, could you? Okay, I think we should end it here with this final thing. Could you give him an alternative concept in the same vein as stripper dancing to Seinfeld theme song that maybe you can run with instead?
That's hard because
I think Christopher Columbus. It sounds like he's really going with that bit. So I think just work on that, right? Because he's in hot water, right?
This guy probably has an only Thanksgiving special.
These are specials for when he goes home to talk to his family, right?
I always heard that Christopher Columbus was like a child female rapist. I didn't know he was gay until further research. So
Child?
like I thought he like hooked up
That's
with
John
like
Smith.
young Indians. Oh, that's John Smith. Okay. I don't know.
Another bit, so something that's sexy and seedy combined with something that's wholesome like the Seinfeld theme song. So what's something sexy and seedy, Johnny? Something. I'll top the noggin.
Christopher Columbus
Oh, I got one. I got one. So this is a
having sex with a slave. I don't know, dude. No. I was gonna say he could be like, oh, there's Christopher Columbus stuffing a turkey because he's gay.
Don't ever go to pitch meetings.
That's what that's as corny as those other jokes were.
I got a bit. What if this was a organ player for a funeral home, but the only song he plays on the organ is the Friends theme song?
But why does it gotta be another theme song?
That's almost nice. That's almost like happy. Nah, that's almost happy.
That's funny.
All right, hey, let us know down in the comments. Final thoughts, boys.
Nobody else has anything, or
You got
It's
any
hard to-
questions?
Oh, we can do one more question. I thought
No,
we were
we will wrap it up. We're fine.
Let's wrap it up.
I
It's,
thought you were saying wrap it up.
yeah, I
All right,
was.
let's wrap it up.
I was.
Okay.
Any
We
other final thoughts?
have a pool of questions from this audience who won't stop submitting them, but let's wrap it up.
Yeah, stop.
John, you want to talk about your good news or no? You don't want to ruin anything.
Can we talk about good news and bad news, or is it too late for that?
Start with the bad news.
I'll start with the bad news. So,
This is Johnny's last podcast.
This is my final podcast. I've got 6 months.
Maximum.
To finish the podcast. Just kidding. Anyway, no. So the bad news is I couldn't really talk about it before because I had signed an NDA. So technically, I can't really talk about it. I'm not going to say what show it was, but I was. I mentioned it to you guys already. I was in consideration for a series regular role on a network TV show.
Oh, this is bad news.
And it came down to me and the other guy. I found out a couple days ago that they went with the other guy.
I can't remember the show. Well,
I hope he breaks.
Talk about the show.
I hope he breaks his leg. Honestly,
Austin, do you remember the show?
I did.
I
I told
forget.
you guys, but
it was a big. It was a cool big one.
Yeah, it was a big role. I can't talk about the show.
Hey, I hope he dies.
Anything could happen.
Dysentery.
Though. Anything could happen.
Hey,
but yeah, that was bad news.
Don't you secretly hope that he gets hurt violently?
Gets a horrible virus that ends his
But seriously,
gives him laryngitis.
Then you'd get it.
Yeah, I mean, no, dude, he just wasn't meant to be, man. You know?
Nope. I don't want.
It sucks though, because it would have been a great role, and it would work with some awesome talent, some well-known celebrity talent alongside them. But you know,
But I forget the exact guy. But
not the dream.
There's a guy on Scrubs who wasn't quirky enough to play JD, the main character. Zach Braff got it, but
love that
they
show.
brought him back as Zach Braff's
Oh,
Braff's
really?
brother. As a recurring kind of guest star thing. Some seasons.
I mean, maybe if it keeps going, maybe they'll bring him back for something. But who knows? But other than that, on the good side, I just booked the Tennis Channel on-camera host.
And you're allowed
For the
to talk
Tennis
That's a
Channel.
pilot. That's a pilot, right?
It's a pilot, so I mean, I didn't sign anything, so why not?
Listen, I remember first season of American Idol. It was Ryan Seacrest, and one other guy, and nobody knew American Idol would be this huge thing. And Ryan Seacrest wasn't wearing a suit or anything. He was wearing a T-shirt and puka shells. cut to season, the next season, he turned into the biggest host there is, and that could easily happen to you in the tennis channel.
Who is Ryan Secret?
Nice. No. Good one, dude.
Dude, I could be the next tennis channel massive host.
Name three tennis players.
Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and Serena Williams.
All right, I was going to call you out
Venus
no
Williams.
females, but you got it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I used to watch tennis, dude. Andre Agassi, come on.
Aaron, final thoughts.
Well,
what do you got going on?
Christmas is coming up. Probably do the is Christmas going up?
The goose is getting fat.
The goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, it is. It's right now. It's first couple weeks of December.
Probably do
the holidays.
Probably do the tofurkey because I'm vegan. Parents are vegan. Austin's
Loser.
Austin's the only non-vegan.
I enjoy plants, so all good here. I'm there for the good times.
What about you, man? What are you doing?
Well, still waiting to hear about a couple projects. Had 2 callbacks last week.
Yeah, buddy. Why'd you give him the rim shot?
What a joke. This guy has callbacks.
He's got callbacks.
So we'll see.
That's it?
Oh, we get to,
I thought you were going to say what they were, but all right,
one,
whatever.
one was for Nissan, one was for Arvest Go, where they'd fly me out to Arkansas it was a bank app.
Whoa, can you do those? Isn't that a financial?
Oh yeah. Well, my agent did submit me for.
No, you can do financial as long as it's not with me.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to leave you guys on this final note. Because the holidays are here upon us, one of my favorite things to do during the holidays is to watch a movie, right? Because that's what we all do.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, general.
What's your go-to holiday film? It doesn't have to be a holiday film, but just it's the holidays. You're at home a lot. You watch a movie. What's your go-to?
My favorite Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life, and I watch it every year.
Hopefully with our dad.
It doesn't have to be a Christmas movie, but I'm just saying.
We watch it with our friend Robinson
good choice.
as well.
Robinson moved away.
I mean, he's still in California.
He carries the tradition.
So I agree. It's a Wonderful Life is tradition at our household.
All right.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Do you cry every time at the end? George Bailey had Friends.
No. I mean, have you seen it? Once you've seen it so many times, you really...
Something about it, though, just chokes you up every time.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Schindler's List. That's what I like.
The way they humanize the Nazis.
Yeah, I like movies that are black and white, and then they have like certain things are in color.
I like Christmas Vacation.
I like to
That's
see
one
a
of my
Nazi with a
go-tos.
cold, like a virus. It was in the movie.
Common cold.
Just
Anyway,
humanize them.
How do we end the best podcast ever? How do we end this?
Cheers, boys.
To the holidays.
Oh, maybe reacting to a theme song or something. I don't know. If that plays us out.
That was good. Anyway, we look forward to getting more questions from you guys. And make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, Surviving Hollywood Podcast.
All the links are down below in the description.
They're all down there.
But not on iTunes, though.
Hit us up. And on iTunes, on that iTunes audience, make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review. Leave a comment.
If you're still listening by
rate
minute
and review.
48, please.
Yes.
You're involved now.
Yeah. We will be... All right, that music's good. Anyway.
Use that to motivate you.
Anyway, let's do it, boys and girls. We will see you guys on the next podcast. And happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Trump's in office.
Happy New
We
Year.
can finally say Merry Christmas
Happy
again.
Thanksgiving. Is that okay to say that?
I am
Happy
done.
Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Festivus.
You get the hell out of here, buddy.